Hello again, and welcome back. Today I want to cover rather briefly um, an issue that has grown out of uh, numerous observations that I performed recently, and these are all brand new teachers. Um, and there seems to be a couple of common areas where I think I can make some suggestions for improvement. And one of them is your voice. Okay? The voice is one of the most powerful classroom management tools that you can possess. Okay? And the use of it is how that comes into play. Now, if your voice is loud, and it may be loud for any number of reasons. Maybe you've got a 58-ton air conditioning unit that's just right on top of your classroom, or maybe when the heater kicks on, it's loud. Maybe the band practices marching by your window during fourth and fifth period. There are all kinds of reasons why your voice would match the ambient tones from somewhere else. But generally that's not the case. So I want you to realize that the level of loudness and the intensity of your voice set the norm in the classroom. So if your norm is way up here and you're speaking loudly all the time and that's the way you present, then what do the students have to do or perceive that they have to do in order to match you? Well, it's obvious. They've got to go a little higher, don't they? Because you set the norm, you set the bar, they've got to go higher to be recognized. So unwittingly, you are creating disturbances of your own. Drop the voice level down, and the entire noise level of the classroom will respond, and frequently the calmness level of the classroom will respond. I can hear some of you saying, but wait a minute, there's no way I can reach those students in the back. Yeah, there is. Keep moving. Don't stand behind a podium. Don't sit behind your desk. Get out and move among the students. Now, in the chapter on Jones, there are all kinds of suggestions as far as seating arrangements. My favorite one was effectively a double horseshoe or double U with 2 rows. And then I had that immense area in the center in which to move around. I didn't have to holler. I didn't have to talk any louder than I'm speaking now. So keep moving. There will be times in the classroom when there's noise. And there may be a lot of noise in the classroom. So, first of all, we need to acknowledge that a productive classroom is always silent. No, it's not. And I would argue it's the opposite, that a productive classroom is productively noisy. If you assign group work, and they're developing something, they're creating a project, they're cutting pieces out to accumulate a building, they're solving an equation together, and it comes from different angles and aspects. There will be noise. You want there to be noise, because if they're not making noise, then they're not interacting, nor are they engaging. So you need a signal. You need a signal to communicate to the class that the current level of noise needs to be brought down. I've seen bells used. I've seen little chimes used. I use my voice. And I use my voice to control in the same way that I use it to manage my class. And I simply would do a count back from 3 to 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. With each number being a slightly more quiet tone. And when I hit 0, my expectations were, my voiced expectations to the classroom from previous training was that they would be silent. Don't be one of those teachers where others walk by your classroom and you're hollering out, settle down now. No, I'm not going to tell you again to settle down, which you just did. My whole goal in this series of bits that I'm going to put together for you is to open your eyes to working smarter, not harder. You've already got a ton of stuff on your plate right now. So my need for you is to work smarter, not harder. And lastly, if you want to really consider the power of your voice, then view it from the student's perspective. If you're shouting up here all the time, and this is where your voice level is, and this is how your instructions are delivered, what's the impact on the student? Well, we already talked about they then have to go above that, don't they? Loud, continuous noise is fatiguing, is tiring to hear. So you may be in a class where over time, gee golly, there certainly seem to be a lot more hoodies appearing. And more often now you're finding earbuds inside those hoodies. You've invited that action simply because of your voice level. So let's go back and hit the key pieces there. Your voice sets the norm for the class. If it's excessive, then the noise, the ambient noise in the classroom will be excessive. If it's moderate and calming, then so would the mood of the classroom. Keep moving. If you're concerned about that student in the back hearing, move to that student in the back. Get on your feet and move and circulate. Turn around, back up, be fluid. Know where your classroom is and how it works and how it comes together. But be moving. Then you don't have to stand from the podium next to the whiteboard and scream at the kids at the back of the room. Chances are they'll be better students for you. Employ a signal on when you need to bring things back to 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. Keep it simple. That's all I have for now. Let's get back to class.